Bitcoin. Now, if I had seen this graphic last week when I was trying to convey my point that how early you are in Bitcoin adoption compared to internet users, which is the blue dotted line, and mobile phone users, which is the purple dotted line. And if you look at Bitcoin, the solid black adoption curve, we are so very, very early. It's quite ridiculous. We have a, and it's different. The reason it's different than those two is because we have a limited supply. So as the necessity of an alternative to the Federal Reserve, as that grows, as people realize, I can't just keep asking for more loans from the IMF because my country will own nothing, which each loan they ask for the IRS, they need collateral. So we're going to have that oil field. We're going to take this diamond mine you guys have. We'll give you some more US dollars that are backed by those oil mines you just sold to us. Keep doing that. But when they realize we can't keep doing that, they adopt Bitcoin, which has no leader. So you can't just go and kill the president and now you get rid of Bitcoin like Gaddafi, right? This is going to change the entire outlook for Africa and South America. And I think we are in the 20% adoption range, like from 1 to 100, we're about 20% fully adopted. I think there's a ridiculous amount of room.
And to think about the adoption curve, and how you bring up Africa, a lot of African nations, especially in Nigeria, are very understanding of inflation. A lot of nations outside of the United States are very heavy into education, and they know about these things like inflation. So one thing that we don't really talk about much about Bitcoin is the fact that, okay, as of right now, the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world, but it gets inflated so much. So now you have to spend way more US dollars than what you would every single year because of inflation. Now, with Bitcoin, you have a better chance and a better opportunity of preserving your spending power, your ability to spend using Bitcoin because of the finite supply of Bitcoin, and with the addition of the Bitcoin Lightning Network, which can make payment transactions extremely fast. So like here, that
Perfect
Bitcoin
segue.
Lightning,
Perfect
Bitcoin
segue.
and Lightning Network channels. So and this is something that I've been I've been tracking on chain for a little while using DeFi Llama. Bitcoin is really, the Lightning Network specifically is one of these protocols or applications that has been gradually growing from what I've noticed in 2022 and going into 2023. It's gradually been growing and growing and growing in terms of total value. Many people are using the Bitcoin Lightning Network channels, and it's actually on Cash App now. So you can use the Bitcoin Lightning Network on Cash App, which is one of the biggest fintech apps out right now.
Bro, wait till Apple, okay? You can just send Bitcoin through the Lightning Network on an Apple wallet. Google Pay. What do you know how many phones there are that have Google and Apple Pay? Where if they enabled Lightning transactions, you could just scan it, boom, done. Oh, it's not a currency. Come on, people, come on. And I want to answer this question. They already are treating Bitcoin like FDR did with gold. Well, nobody can have gold. But if you Google 1,000 UK limit, the UK is limiting their Bitcoin, how much you can send to a crypto exchange per week, to $1,000. Every week, you can only send $1,000 to any crypto exchange at a time. So it's already happening, right? If you try to take $10,000 out of your bank account, or you give them $10,000, that's reported to the IRS, and they ask you, hey, where the hell did you get this $10,000 from? So not only even just buying Bitcoin with cash, they're already asking questions. They need to know what you're doing with this. I'm telling you, non-KYC Bitcoin, so Bitcoin that you don't buy where they know your name and address and your social security number, know your customer Bitcoin that is off the books on a secure wallet, okay? This is not financial advice.
Yeah.
Just
And also, I have two examples of this. One you see in China and in Nigeria. So in China, China wants a currency that they can control because they have a social credit score type of society, and they have a extremely strict a what do you call it, like a security based society where everything is on camera, and you can't do anything in China without being caught on camera. But China has, basically banned Bitcoin many times, but they can't do it exactly because Bitcoin is still global and you can get it on any device, regardless of where you are. The second example that I have is with Nigeria, where they're trying to restrict, I believe it's a certain amount of deposits or withdrawals of cash. They're basically trying to push adoption of their
$250 a week.
CBDC. Yes,
Yep.
they're trying to
You can only
push their
take out
CBDC, the e-Niara or something like that. But people are buying in Nigeria. People are getting Bitcoin at a premium in Nigeria instead of using their nation's central bank digital currency, because they understand it's a control mechanism with the central bank digital currency. So yeah, I think we'll definitely see that happening. We'll see a lot of people's ledgers. People might be getting pulled up on by the government with ledgers and stuff like that. There was actually a hacker who basically he did a cyber crime, but in Georgia, they found his hard wallet with I believe $3 billion worth of Bitcoin on his hard wallet, and it was like stashed under the floor. It was like stashed under his floor in like a popcorn machine or something. Like, it was crazy. Bro tried to have his hiding spot like crazy. But the thing about it, it's like with anything, if you're not doing nothing illegal with the Bitcoin, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't be like, a target. He was actually targeted because he actually committed a cyber crime. He stole the Bitcoin, so he was just holding it for I think 7 or 8 years or something like that.
I think the fear comes from, why do you need to know? Because how much I have, then you're going to hit me with property taxes, storage taxes, make up a tax where if you're using something that's not the US dollar, you got to pay a tax on it. Like, once they know how much you have, and they have, Uncle Sam gets a little sniff of a profit, you don't want that. You want a non-KYC, folks. So that means BizQ, BISQ is a non-KYC exchange. I highly recommend. And let's just take a look at this right here. What does this mean? What are we looking at? This is the Bitcoin market cap versus legacy financial services and how long it took them to get to where they are. So Visa, the average age of a legacy financial company is 96 years. So it took Visa that long to get to $440 billion. It took Bitcoin 12 years to get to $440 billion market cap. Bitcoin is worth more than JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, where these are companies that have been around since the Atlantic slave trade, people. And Bitcoin, in its infancy, it's not even a teen yet. Well, now it's a teen. I think today is its birthday. It just turned 13 years old, and $440 billion, only 2 countries have adopted it. I don't want people to think they're too late when they see things like this, but it just goes to show you how much faster this is being adopted by the world, and the necessity that the world has for a Bitcoin. No one needs Visa. No one needs JP Morgan Chase. Nobody fucking needs a Bank of America. What they need is to be able to have their own bank in their pocket and be their own bank within themselves. They make their own choices of where they want their money to be held. If you put your money into the bank account, that money is not in the bank. They only need to hold 10% of that in the reserves. That money is being traded, sent to someone else. The money that you get back is someone else's debt. You're not even getting your own money back. The instant you put it into that ATM, that money is gone in the digital system forever. You're getting a whole nother loan from someone else's investment, of someone else's deposit. It's never ending. You'll never be able to trace it back. But with Bitcoin, It is audited every 10 minutes.
Just think about it. These big businesses, these big banks, and these big, big payment providers, and fintech industries and stuff like that. Like, we're looking at the average age, 96 years compared to a 12-year-old Bitcoin. In the sense of human life, think about 12 years. That's a 12-year-old. Like, talk about early, literally early is 12 years. So that's why I always have a long-term scope on Bitcoin, regardless of the market conditions, because also when you look at the fundamentals of Bitcoin in the halving cycles every 4 years, it is bound to become a deflationary digital asset, digital currency, rather, if you will, as well, because of things like the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Now, yes, it's volatile. Now, if we see a point to where Bitcoin will stabilize in price, I think we could see that stabilization of price once miners don't make as much from their mining every block, because I believe miners are making about 12 Bitcoin, per mine blocked, or 6 Bitcoin right now per mine blocked. So as we see those mining rewards come down, I think we'll also see the price stabilize more, because it'll just take a lot more energy to mine more blocks, and two, the rewards will just be lessened. So that, I think this is, but just for 12 years, what is that? 3 halving cycles for Bitcoin, and you're already at a $440 billion market cap. Now, what about in 24 years? When Bitcoin is 24 years old, what does that look like? Is that double, triple, quad? Is that a 10x? You know what I'm saying? Is that a 10x from where we are right now, which is 400 billion? So that's why I always keep in mind a long-term mindset when talking about Bitcoin.
Super long-term, because 2 countries out of 157, 2 countries in the entire world have adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender. So the risk is that it goes to 3,800. The reward is that it surpasses gold as a store of value and as a global reserve currency. The risk is that you lose 12, was it 15, 12? Yeah, 12,000. The risk is you lose $12,000 in the short term, and the reward is 500,000 plus. 500,000, 250 to 500,000 is, and 500,000 would be it surpassing gold. And it's, how are you going to send $1 million in gold? It's infinitely better than gold. It's worth 1,000 times more than gold intrinsically, and it's I think less than a tenth of what gold is, because gold is about a $10 billion market cap.
As long as there's electricity, that's what I'll say. If a solar storm from the sun comes and smacks all of Earth and just wipes out our electromagnetic field, man, it's like, dang, if we don't have no electricity, Bitcoin is obsolete at that point.
Yeah, and where's Visa going?
Exactly, Visa's gonna go too. You know what I'm saying? JP Morgan is gonna go too. All of these fintech companies, all of them are gonna go. But at the same time, that at that point, at some catastrophic like that, that's where you got your gold, your silver,
gold and silver,
because those conduct the electricity. You know what I'm saying? If it got down to the point,
in case
people could rip open the wiring and stuff and smelt down the copper or the silver or the gold in the the wiring of these things. So there's many different situational things in which you want to have an investment. That's why it's always you should always have an open mind when investing, because you don't know what can happen. Something like
silver, palladium,
exactly,
gold bars.
And the fact that, what if I have all of this gold and I'm trying to move it somewhere? I can't just throw it on an airplane and then just it's heavy, bro. It'll be heavy to transport,
and you need security.
Swipe from me easily.
Exactly. Yep. Someone can just come rob you.
Exactly.
No one's getting those 24 words from you. That's just,
so there's trade-offs. That's why you have Bitcoin. That's why you have precious metals. There's trade-offs in both, and that's why I like them both, because it provides a alternative to the U.S. dollar. You really want to separate from the U.S. dollar right now, because that's all. Look at how they're controlling this fiscal policy, bro. you like there is somebody just controlling what happens to those dollars that you have, whether it goes the value of the dollar goes up or down, and then they're controlling how much interest you pay on your dollar. So it's like you have to get away from it, honestly.
Yeah, and those
Get
and those and those same people are actively saying, we need more layoffs, we need more job cuts, we need more, we need more, we need more suffering, more pain, more starving. We need people to be on the streets begging. We need more. We want more.
Mhm.
These are our overlords, guys. It's either
Man,
that
they're,
or
they're
Bitcoin or gold.
they're bloodsuckers. They're the synagogue of Satan. Of
Shaitan,
Shaitan.
man, the star of Rephaim, brother, man. These are the people. But that note, let's not get too
I just
anti-Shemitic.
killed our YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, we're not getting any views now.